Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Investing Bros. It is Wednesday. It's weird because this is only our second show, and it's already Wednesday because we didn't do Monday. It's throwing me off, but we're super excited to be here. Got a great show lined up for you guys. As you saw in the thumbnail and the title, we're going to be talking some more Sam Bankman-Fried because shocking breaking news, he lied again. I know, we were kind of hoping at this point the lies were over, but no, I think at this point, it's going to be surprising when he starts telling the truth is when it's really going to get nice and juicy. We got a lot to cover there because it involves millions upon millions of dollars with this lie. And the question is, who does the money actually belong to? Sam believes he should keep it. BlockFi is coming in thinking that they should get the money. And of course, there's those millions of users that also deserve some of that pie as well. We will talk about that in the second half of the show and more. We got some great TA for you guys today, although it is more bearish technical analysis than it is anything else. We'll keep you guys posted on what's happening there. Some interesting developments yesterday with some daily candles. And again, as we close out, we're not just closing out a month. We're closing out a quarter. We're closing out a year. And we're going to be taking a look at some of those bigger time frame candles and talking about what those potentially mean. So make sure you go ahead and smash that like button. If you are new here, subscribe to the channel for every single day, Monday through Friday. We bring you guys everything you need to know about the crypto markets, the stock markets, so that you can continue to grow in your investing journey. I'm joined by old T. Shroom. How are you doing this morning, T. Shroom?
Well, I could be better if the natural gas markets were going my way. But other than that, I'm doing very, very chipper. Chipper. I'm feeling great today. Yesterday was a little bit of a down day for me.
Yeah.
And today I'm feeling great other than natural gas.
Yeah. No, yesterday I was sort of feeling under the weather. Got my zinc and magnesium.
Nice.
Taking some vitamin D and some vitamin C. I actually feel pretty good. I feel like I'm a little stuffy. My nose is a little stuffy. And I'm still a little tired. So we'll see if my energy stays high, because I feel like I started out decently, and then we'll see if that stays for the rest of the show. But I do think that I'm going to avoid a deep sickness altogether. I think there was a mild little cold that kind of came in and attacked me from this Florida cold weather. You guys notice I'm wearing my hat again. Just don't want to get any worse because it's still cold. Even in the house, it's cold right now in Florida. And, here's the thing. I love cold, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but for anyone who's new here, I'm open for a debate. Florida cold is pretty much worse than any other cold. Maybe Texas gets some of this too. And what I mean by that is I'm not talking about because Florida never really gets below. I think one time in Florida I saw 15 degrees. Florida I've never seen it colder than that.
Yeah, that's about as cold as it gets.
What I'm talking about, I'm not, because there are places where it get negative 20. So I'm not trying to compare to that. I am saying take the temperature of Florida with the exact same temperature of almost anywhere else, and Florida cold is worse. 20 degrees in Florida is 10 times worse than 20 degrees in New York or in Virginia or in even Minnesota up there. It is just the worst because it's this humid cold that goes through your clothing, through your skin, and just chatters your bones.
Ooh.
It's the absolute worst. And of course, the heat isn't much better either because of that humid heat. But what do you think, T-shirt?
It's a wet heat. It's a wet heat and a wet chill.
It is.
And it is very humid, and that I think you just said it very well. The water in the air sticks to you, and it makes you even chillier, and it is rough.
Yeah.
And we stay indoors here in Florida.
Yeah, it is. It is. When it gets down here, again, if those of you don't know, in northern Florida, we saw teens over this weekend. During the nighttime, it got down into the teens. No snow, so it was not a white Christmas. Still a very green Christmas the rest of them here in Florida.
It was barely a white Christmas in Tennessee when I was up there. It was
Really?
just a light dusting over the grass.
Yeah, the grass.
Over the grass.
T-shirt, before we check in with chat here for the morning, is there any other headlines other than SBF? What else are we talking about in this show?
It's an excellent question, Tim. I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm going to tell you what those headlines are.
Unlike SBF, you're going to be honest with us.
That's true.
Yes.
That is exactly what I'm going to do. Well, there's a strange headline here, but it's precautionary. The FBI renews its warning about pig butchering crypto scams sweeping the nation. So we're going to be hearing a little bit about that. Argo shares soar following a $65 million sale of mining facility to Galaxy Digital. So there's that going on. And there's another SBF story. SBF will face judge who presided over Trump and Kevin Spacey. So
nice.
SBF getting the celebrity judge there. It's going to be quite a thing to watch. So
it's here in a couple years when the whole documentary comes out and all the action documentaries. It's going to be fun to watch all this stuff play out and see all the actors that get involved.
Yeah.
Let's check in here with chat really fast, though. Let's see. Mr. J was first. He said, first, hello, hope you guys have a great holiday. You too, Mr. J. Thank you so much for joining. Crypto Mini Bike was in here second. Gia S is here. Elo Brown, Crypto Mini Bike, Crypto Ben Franklin. I always love when people make jokes about Ben Franklin and his presidency, which for those who don't know,
don't say it. Benjamin Franklin was my favorite president.
He was my favorite president too. That's right. I mean, to be fair, that's actually maybe not a bad way to say that. I don't know how many good presidents there. Okay, Grand Ruby Incorporated is in the house. He said, "Is anyone in here think Tesla's looking like an attractive price? If you like catching falling knives and if you're good at it, yes, it could look very attractive right now. I haven't actually looked at it this morning, so maybe that's worth looking at a little bit later.
It was down 11% yesterday, I believe. Yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah, it's the chart's pretty rough. Elo Brown says, "What? My trust is broken." Oh my god. Okay, Crypto JMP is here. Brad Geidel in the house representing Wisconsin. CBD Suddy is in the house. T Shroom, look at you. You're in chat too. How about that? Way to engage.
Yeah.
Who else is here? I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Is that AI bundles or Al bundles? Is that an I or an L at the end of that? Brian D is here. Kevin Grems, I think. Grems, I think. Grems. Servando Estrada. And I believe that is everyone. We're going to get more people to join. But here's what I know. You got 34 people watching right now. We got 21 likes. So we just went up to 31 people.
Nice.
We can go higher. So people, let's go ahead and smash that like button. Again, with these smaller channels, it's easy to match that up. We've been doing a great job so far. I was really surprised, T-Shirt. Yesterday, our first day back in a week, and the concurrent got up all the way to 90. So I was very, very surprised at that, and I think that's awesome. We are growing very quickly. Very soon, we will be actually monetized. And here's a good question for you guys, and I might put this as a poll in chat. Or I might need T-Shroom. I don't know if T-Shroom can do it. I don't know if he's signed in.
I can probably make it happen.
We need to put it all in chat. To be monetized on YouTube, you have to have 1,000 subscribers. Well, boom, we got that. And you have to have 4,000 watch time hours. So it's going to take some time to get those watch time hours in. But what do you think happens first? Do we get to 2,000 subscribers first, which we're more than halfway there, or 4,000 watch time hours first, which I think currently we're sitting at about 2,400, I want to say. Maybe it's a little more than that. Let me look at this real quick. Good. Sitting at 2,400 watch time hours, so we're past halfway on that one, and we're sitting at about just below 1,300 subs. So which happens first? I want you guys to tell me which one does. Are we going to get to 2,000 subs first, or are we going to get those 4,000 watch time hours first? Let me know what you guys think.
I have a question too.
You have a question?
Well,
I might have an answer.
Let's not muddy. Well, okay. Have you guys been seeing ads on our videos? I saw a couple ads.
They're not allowed to do that.
That's what I thought. But yesterday I pulled up our stream just because it's pretty much all I watch now. I just watch our stream over and over.
It's great content.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
Those guys, they know what they're talking about. And I got him. But I saw an ad. Yeah, I was just like,
was it at the beginning or the end?
Something. It was at the beginning. So let us know in the chat if you guys seen it.
It might be that the one that in the beginning before that one doesn't count. It's the ones in the middle usually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why does the one in the front not matter?
I mean, I don't know.
Because I thought the whole thing was like sometimes content creators will make a video unmonetized so that you just watch it and you don't see any ads and like it's a gift to people. Like if they're running a nonprofit, a charity thing, fundraiser or something, they won't do it anyway. I don't know.
Well. Yeah, you're not going to see them live. So Elo Brown just said I haven't seen anything on live, but of course you don't see them live. It is it's the playbacks that you get them.
Well, if Elo said it, then it's probably
he knows his stuff.
He's kind of like us. He just knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. Boom. Well, let's go ahead and jump in. Let's do some technical analysis. And I'm going to start. Today's going to look a little bit different. I'm actually going to make some statements because we've seen some similarities over the charts. And I'm actually going to bounce from charts to charts to charts. And then I'll go back and do some more in depth on individual coins. But let's start off here on the Bitcoin chart. Now, we're on the daily chart right now. And I want you guys to look at this really nicely. And I'm going to give you 3 seconds to tell me if you see anything on this chart that looks, I'll give you a hint, it's bearish. 1, 2, 3. Boom. It is yesterday's candle close. And I told T-Shirt right before we went live here, I was like, it'd be interesting. I don't think we're going to be able to do it due to our schedules and also, spending time with family later at night. But our time, Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. is when these candles, the new daily candle prints. And you get to see how the day closed before. This candle right here, yesterday's candle, ended up closing as a bearish engulfing candlestick, which means there really should end up being a bearish trend happen. Now, let me start and kind of go back for a second. Let's do a little bit of a reminder if you guys are a little out of date with what's been happening with engulfing candles, or if you're like, I'm not 100% certain what those are. Some people would have considered this an engulfing candle. And I'm not going to say it's not. I'm not saying you couldn't have used this one. Anytime you have a candle body that changed colors and is bigger, that's a great thing. But here's the definition that I have been taught, and here's how I operate with engulfing candlesticks. It is not only when the candle bodies themselves engulf the candle bodies, but it's also the wicks as well. So you guys can see right here, this red wick. That's a fun one to say over and over and over again. This red wick right here back on the 19th of December, the wick is lower than the lowest wick here on the 20th. So is it good that the green candle body is bigger? Absolutely. But notice that ended up being the highest we got during this whole period. That was not fully an engulfing candlestick. This one is, and the reason why is because not only is the candle body clearly bigger and the lower wick is lower, the upper wick is higher than this upper wick as well, which means this was an entire day of a reversal where we continue to transition, and during this day, not only do we go a little higher than the day before, we dropped well below. And so this is sitting as a true bearish engulfing candlestick. Now remember, that wick is really important. Let's go over a look at Ethereum. Same thing we have with Ethereum. The wick is higher, the body's bigger, the wick is lower. Bearish engulfing candlestick on Ethereum. Coming over to Cardano, we don't have a bearish engulfing candlestick. Why is that? Even though we have the wick is actually a little higher and the wick's a little lower, in this one, the body itself is not engulfing. So this is not an engulfing candlestick. This kind of goes with and makes sense. We've been talking about how Cardano is way more overextended to the downside than any other project. So that makes sense that while all these other projects are getting these bearish engulfing candlesticks, even though we're still bearish right now on Cardano, it is sitting closer to the bottom of these other coins. And this is one of the signs. You're going to see as we continue to go through some coins, almost every other one has bearish engulfing developed on it. But let's go ahead and look through some others. Cardano avoided that bearish signal. We got right now, so actually XRP was bullish. It closed yesterday bullish. And right now, this would not set up a bearish engulfing candlestick. Why? Because that wick is way up there. But let's watch how XRP closes. We'll have to talk about that tomorrow. But XRP is another one avoiding bearish RSI divergence. Bearish engulfing candlesticks. Here we have one that this one actually would classify. This would not classify as bearish engulfing because the wicks are not going. So DOT is another one avoiding our engulfing candlestick. Let's see. Link is engulfing. We have the wick going a little higher. The body's clearly bigger. The wick is below. Atom avoided it. It actually though had this is called a shooting star candle, and so this is another reversal. It's not one of the strongest reversals, and so this is another one I would say don't give up necessarily an Atom. We're going to take a little bit of a deeper look at Atom here in just a little bit, but that's another one that avoided it. Let's look at Matic. Matic avoided it. VeChain, I'm just looking at some of the bigger ones. VeChain avoided it as it stands, but there's just been a bear trend already, so we really didn't need to have a true engulfing candlestick there. That's one that we were already in a bearish a little bit. Algo avoided it. Let's see, Doge has been bearish here for a little bit, and so that's going to kind of close that one out. But Bitcoin and Ethereum mainly, those are the two big ones. We have some bearish engulfing candlesticks, and this kind of goes into what we were talking about yesterday. Remember, I discussed. If we go down, let's go down and look at some things down here a little lower. We discussed this rising triangle on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I said there's a chance that we end up breaking to the upside because traditionally rising triangles break to the upside, but I saw a lot more pressure to the downside, and this flat top, well, normally that is a sign of like a consolidation where the bulls keep pressing up to that point, and that's a strong level the bears can resist. The reason why I wasn't very convinced is because of the low level of volume coming into the space. There hasn't been a lot of breaking news over the last couple of days that are really impactful. There was just a level of like, all right, we got to bounce back up to where we had a very comfortable level of volume in the past. And guess where that level was? Right here around, this is on Ethereum, 1,222. On Bitcoin, that level, same thing, was hovering around 16,900 or so. There was just where a lot of volume was being traded at. And so because there was no excitement in the space, we stayed there. Well, guess what? A little bit of volume did end up coming in space for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we ended up dropping below that support level, and we're coming back down. Now, where we're sitting at the moment, and is the level, the first level I told you guys to kind of watch, is the low, the little support level, flat level we had back here around 16,500 back on the 22nd of December. We're coming back down to those levels. However, I do believe, while maybe we might see a little bit of support here for the next day or two, I do think the lower levels are coming, not only because of what I just told you guys about, that bearish engulfing candlestick, but let's also pull up Lux Algo and see what we have going on here. Currently, we're under a buy signal, but in a bearish trend. That doesn't necessarily mean as much. Even more so, we got a cloud a little bit below us. And if you're looking at your Lux Algo action concepts, the volume that it really looks like it wants to come down and hit after testing this little patch right here, close to 17,000, technically touching 17,000, it wants to come down into the region of around 16,004, and that's 500, but more realistically down towards 16,300. And you're going to see this on Lux Algo action concepts on the 4-hourly chart. On the hourly chart, if we go even lower, this one I expected to see a fat little line right here, but we didn't. It didn't even give us one right there. We still have it coming down here around 16,300, and going out to the daily chart, you're going to see it there as well out here on Bitcoin. So for those reasons, I do still think there's a chance that what we're doing is still working to the downside. On the daily chart, these sell signals have been the strongest ones because why? Well, we're still in a bear market. We're still in a bear trend. Therefore, on the daily chart, when you get a sell signal with what I use is the contrarian signal, so it actually gets a little closer to the peaks if it's being used correctly, it is still saying that it wants us to move to the downside. It's not ready to say it's time to buy just yet. So for those reasons, the first level support I'm looking at on Bitcoin is probably sitting closer towards that 16,300 that I've seen on all three of those charts, the daily, the 4-hourly, and the hourly chart. Let's pull up also our simple moving averages. Now, I don't always do simple moving averages, but you're going to notice on a lot of projects, and this one, for the sake of time, I'm actually just going to show you a couple of these ones. The simple moving average right now is showing us that almost everything is bouncing off of or needs to bounce off of the 20 SMA. So this orange line right here, that is the 20 SMA. Technically speaking, we broke through our 50, this red one right here, very briefly, but touched on that 20 and ended up coming to the downside. Same thing here with Ethereum. This is the 20 SMA on the daily chart, kissed that orange line very beautifully and started to fall. You're going to notice when I pull up Cardano, we did not get to it. So again, another argument for saying Cardano is more overextended to the downside than other projects. We didn't even get back close to our 20. Yes, we wrestled with it back here and then fell. We need to get back to it. Now, the question is, will we have a rally that gets back up to it, or will we just kind of start to move sideways and wait for the 20 to come down to us? I'm hoping it's the first, but wouldn't be surprised if it is the latter. You're going to see also Cardano turn former support into resistance. You guys, I've been talking about this falling wedge we are in, which should have been bullish, but we ended up falling to the downside of, and now that line is being used as resistance. Not great for Cardano, but still has a lot of support. It's closer to the bottom than these other projects. Let's look at some others on the daily chart. XRP kissed, technically went a little above the 20, but now is rejected at that 20 SMA. I guess you could almost kind of claim it was the 50 that rejected on. It didn't quite get there. Had a lot of wrestling right there with the 20. It came back down. DOT is one of the ones like Cardano. It's overextended to the downside. Never quite got up to it, but then we're going to come up to some other ones. Oh, look, okay. Link is another one. And Link, I'm liking what I'm seeing on Link because I've had these lines drawn, these zones drawn for a very long time now as zones of support and zones of resistance. Link is currently sitting at the bottom of its level of support. It's overextended to the downside more than other projects. I'm not going to be surprised if Link, I actually might pick up a position today on Link. Might watch, see if it drops a little bit lower because of that bearish engulfing candlestick. But I wouldn't be surprised to see it come down to this zone one more time, find support, and start rallying back up towards that $9.29 in the quarter one of this next year. But we'll keep your eyes on that one. That one's another one overextended, not necessarily touching the 20. Let's see. Atom is rejected at the 20, so that's another one. Atom rejected at the 20. Matic got there right close to the 20, rejected. I'll go ahead and pause right there. You guys, I think you get my point. A lot of projects had a little rally up to a 20 SMA on the daily chart, and they're being rejected at that. So keep your eyes on the ones that did not quite get there. Cardano, Link, these are projects that more than likely could potentially have a little bit of a rally to the upside for several reasons. And let's actually go back to Cardano really quickly, and let's look at some other things that you should be keeping your eyes on with Cardano. Now, I like talking about Cardano. I know this is one that's frustrating to people because as great as the fundamentals are, we talk about this all the time, it's just very disappointing when it comes to price action. especially when you're seeing these bearish things like rejecting off a former support, even though this formation was supposed to be bullish in the long run. But I went ahead and set some levels that if you want to go ahead and set a buy order for Cardano, you might consider these levels. And honestly, if you have some dry powder left you want to put into Cardano, I would keep your eyes on these levels because I do believe that the space has a little further to go to the downside, especially with everything we're seeing. I know a lot of people over the last week were wondering, all right, is the bottom officially in on Bitcoin and other projects? I'm not saying it isn't, but I'm not saying, okay, how am I going to phrase this? I'm not saying the bottom isn't in. Like, I'm saying the bottom could be in, but that I'm not necessarily confident. And I think I am leaning back towards more than likely a fall closer towards 14,500, 14,300. There's a kind of a pocket in there. But on Cardano, some zones to keep your eyes on. Again, we've talked about 22 cents to 20 cent region. You're going to see my two little red dotted lines. This zone is what I think is a more realistic bottom for Cardano. I think the reason why, if you guys want to pull out, let's go out to a longer time frame. I'm going to pull up my fixed range volume profile. We've discussed this before. Let's go back to the bottom of where the pandemic was back in 2020, and then let's extrapolate right now. You're going to see we have a little zone where this is kind of the value. Now, we're sitting in a very low volume pocket currently at around 25 cents, which is why some people thought 25 cents would be the bottom. But with the bearish stuff coming in, you start to look at the next zone. The absolute bottom of this valley of volume is sitting right here between 22 cents and 20 cents. After those levels, if we bank even farther down, that's fine. We still are looking at some other things. Now what I'm looking at, let's take our volume away. Now I'm looking at former peaks that we had back here, and this would be back in August of 2020, and peaks we had here in November of 2020, 19 cents to 15 cents, or 17 cents. These former tops could be utilized as support levels for Cardano. So if we're looking at these, we got a couple options here. We could continue to fall. Oh, did not grab my percentage. We could continue to fall for Cardano as little as 11%, or maybe even still another 32% to the downside. I would put my money more on the fact that I don't think we're going to get quite down that low. I think it's more likely we end up stopping between that 20 and 22 cent region. Again, why? Because Cardano continues to show it is more overextended to the downside than any other project. That just doesn't mean, though, the bottom can't be in for it. Let's go back and look at Bitcoin for just a second here. And I know I'm a little all over the place this morning, but I'm hoping that this is helping you guys out. Just kind of keeping your eyes and fixed on what could be happening here. Let's look at our bigger time frames. Let's look at the monthly chart. Let's look at some other things. And I got some chaos going on, so give me a second, guys, while I fix this up. Our monthly chart currently on Bitcoin is actually not necessarily that bad. It's going to be interesting to see how we close out on this one. More than likely going to go ahead and continue to close red. I don't think we're going to jump back above 17,200 and turn this monthly candle green, but we will keep our eyes on that. This would be, again, the second monthly red candle, and during this bear trend, we have had several periods. We have 3 red months in a row, followed by 1 or 2 green. So could this be a 2-month red and a January it turns green, or are we going to have another red January that puts us even lower? Potentially, that's what gets us down towards that $14,000 zone. Again, I told you guys about that one, 14,006 to about I have it down to 13,800, but yeah, more realistically around 14,300 or so. Are we going to end up touching that down in January with that third red monthly candle? Let's go look at Ethereum. Ethereum currently on the monthly candle is red. Again, not that significant, and what's better about it is that it's not even sitting down close to its low down here around 897. Ethereum is going to be one of the few projects that, even though I think that other ones are going to hit new lows, I think Ethereum is going to be one that maybe we retest the $1,000 level, but I don't think we're seeing a new low on Ethereum simply because of the tokenomics on that one. But keep your eyes on there. We have another red candle as we close out here on December. Cardano is going to be the same. Again, Cardano is getting closer to those bottom levels than others. XRP has 3 red monthly candles in a row, but there's a lot of things developing on that one. So XRP is one of the candles, one of the coins that I'm looking at and saying it could have one of the bigger green candles here in January, especially with that news we had yesterday, T-Shirt, with Palau and the partnership it's starting to make to create stable coins for governments. We will see what happens there. See, I've lost where I was going to go with this one. Either way, what we're looking at right here, we are kind of closing out sometimes. Let's look at one more. I know I saw this. Oh, Kelly Kellum. I don't know if he's in chat.
What were you going to look at just now?
I was going to look at the yearly chart.
Okay. I would point out is Solana. I would check that out today. It's down 12%.
You want just the daily chart?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go down. Solana. Here's the thing about Solana.
It's got some news.
I'm interested to know how many people in chat are even interested in purchasing Solana anymore.
I think you're going to be even less interested after you see what just came out.
Well, so fundamentally, from what I understand, even though the price is down a lot, even worse fundamentally, their developers, they've lost like 90% of their developers. Obviously, their big backing was FTX. They've lost that. I'm just not sure. I don't know who is still all in with Solana, and I'm interested to hear their theory as to why they're still all in. Again, I've never been a Solana person, never really liked Solana for several reasons, but that all kind of got justified here just a couple months ago. But yeah, we're down. We got a massive red candle today on Solana. T-Shirm, why is that?
Well, let me show you. So, guys, look at this. Top Solana NFT projects, DeGods and Utes to leave the blockchain and explore new opportunities. This came out yesterday, and it's hitting markets now. Over the weekend, DeGods announced on Twitter it would be migrating to Ethereum, while its sister project Utes would be moving to Polygon next year. So, I mean, Solana was picking up steam before the big FTX scandal. It was picking up steam because it was taking market share in the NFT world from names like mostly Ethereum. So, that's a lot of why, momentum was building in Solana. And now you see that trend reversing, and some of their biggest projects. I don't know if these are the biggest projects on Solana, but these are big ones. If they're moving, that kind of spells the end. Now, one thing that's interesting, and I feel bad, is the one uncle that I effectively orange pilled, although you'll see why I didn't actually orange pill him. He bought Solana. So at Thanksgiving, it was a classic example. I was talking about what I do and how I'm involved in crypto.
Yeah.
And I didn't think he was going to buy any crypto, but he called me a couple days later, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to buy some crypto, and I've been reading up on Solana. It's like the fastest chain."
Man.
And I was like, "I would buy Bitcoin because you don't know anything about crypto, and it's a weird, new industry. It's hard to know what's good, what's not." And he ended up buying Solana. And I think he only invested a very small amount of money for him. And I would imagine it's probably down quite a bit.
Yeah.
It is down very, very, very much because it was Thanksgiving of last year.
Yeah, I had a conversation with someone last year with the same thing. And to be fair, Dogecoin, I don't think Dogecoin is going away. I think Dogecoin has a future. But there was a guy he was so proud because he knew I was in crypto. And he's like, "I finally bought some crypto the other day." I was like, "Oh, cool. What'd you buy?" He's like, "I got me some Dogecoin and some Shiba Inu." And he just listed off all these meme coins. And I was like, what the world?
Well, it's almost like Dogecoin is
SafeMoon. That was the other one. He got SafeMoon.
Oh, yeah. SafeMoon's not good. But no. Dogecoin is it's like the crap coin that if you bought it, you don't feel as bad. It's actually emerged to be
Doge?
Yeah. It's emerged to be somewhat, legitimate and interesting, and a lot of that has to do with Elon. But it's if you were one of those early 2021 rage boys getting into crypto, and you bought up a bunch of Dogecoin, you still haven't learned your lesson in crypto because it's funny.
Yeah, I think there's always a space for Dogecoin, and if it's true, if they end up developing more with it and making it significant, because again, I don't think I know someone in chat. I just saw his name. Someone is a very big Dogecoin fan. So Tatted Grizzly, his picture is even a Dogecoin. Feel free to update me and tell me if I'm wrong or right. The whole thing about Dogecoin is, yes, it definitely was a joke. It definitely is a joke. But there's places for jokes, and if they develop and become legitimate and be utilized, they could become the token for Twitter. Especially with Elon's broad endorsement. I think they'll still have Bitcoin and some other ones there as well, but the main one might end up just being Dogecoin. And the other cool thing about it is, yes, some big players have been involved with it, like Mark Cuban and obviously Elon Musk and stuff, but I haven't heard necessarily too much institutional adoption ever having going into it, whereas we have had institutions dabble with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So what that means is Dogecoin has almost always been nothing but generated profitability from retail investors, which will only continue to go up. And then if it does become legitimate, like having tokenomics on Twitter, now you will see institutions come in. Yeah. And it's going to be one of those great things of what started as a joke ended up becoming super legitimate.
I think what it could be is, I don't think you're going to ever see, maybe ever see a company like Fidelity or BlackRock getting involved in a name like Dogecoin just because of the name and just because of the stigma. Maybe if you play it out 50 years, things change. But Bitcoin is kind of a no-brainer for Fidelity. Wanting to integrate that into their 401ks. That's institutional buy-in. The institutions I do see buying into Dogecoin in the long term is media. I think the media corporations, they're not, their clients and their customers would be more comfortable with a partnership with
that. Makes,
Dogecoin.
That's what kind of Mark Cuban did. So I guess that there's one institution you could kind of say. The Dallas Mavericks, you can literally, I think you still can. I haven't heard that you can't. They got killed. You can literally buy Dallas Maverick tickets, Dallas Mavericks, jerseys, merchandise. You can buy things with Dogecoin. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that that's gone away.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
So that could make sense.
At the end of the day, you go to a Dallas Mavericks game to have fun. So, you're not sitting there, buttoning your business suit up, worried about finances. They're just having fun of Dogecoin, whatever. That my nephew's into that, whatever. It's just fun. You're not worried about it.
Well, real quickly, it's 9:30. We're about to jump into the stock market. I just saw in chat though, someone asked, could I touch on Algo TA really quickly?
Yeah, go for it.
And I'm looking while we were just finishing up the conversation. I was looking at it. This is some great stuff on the chart. I don't look at Algo every single day. That's one of the coins I look at probably like a couple times a month. The first thing I'll say is I talked about this level of support here a while ago that I was super bullish on. We broke below, and we're using it as resistance, similar to what Cardano was doing with its former support level, this blue line. It broke below it and now uses it as resistance. But with Algo, what I love that I'm seeing on both of these is super low on the RSI. We got this massive green buy cloud on the Lux Algo oscillator, which it's continuing to move to the downside, but that cloud just keeps getting thicker and thicker and thicker. So every single time you come down, that's just a better buying opportunity on Algo. Let's look at what Lux Algo is saying on the daily chart and the action concepts. Like I figured, it's so low. The volume, the significant volume to get back to is above us. The buy signal in a bear trend did not hit the level just right. I think that there's a chance. I think that Algo potentially ends up meeting this reversal cloud. So whether it continues to trade sideways and breaks back into the support level and the cloud comes up to meet it, or it continues to drop a little bit down, maybe as low as 12 cents here is what I'm looking at on Algo. I think Algo is one of the more attractive looking coins because of how overextended it is to the downside. And also we know the partnerships. I know there are some details about the partnership it had with FIFA. Some people said it was a fake partnership, which isn't true. It's just it was more based off of, it's not like it had guaranteed money. It was like if it made sales and if it was utilized correctly, it could make money off of it.
Yeah.
But the fact that they got a partnership of that size, and then what was the other company they just partnered with here a couple weeks ago?
Algo. I couldn't tell you.
We read it. It was partnering with, man, someone's gonna have to remind me. I forgot what company they partnered with, but they partnered with another large company. They're making partnerships in a bear market. That is always bullish. So when you're seeing here these longer time frames, look at the weekly chart, see what it's doing on the weekly chart. Yeah, we're not necessarily under the 30 on the RSI, but we're low on that one as well. We got a green cloud coming in again saying buy on the weekly chart. You always love when you see these overextended to the downside on the large time frames. They don't always have to. There's some great opportunities where we're hovering around the 50, but when you're low on the RSI on these big time frames, it can take some time before it finally starts to rally. But these are great levels to start accumulating. So Algo's one that I think as I start to maybe dabble back into extending my altcoin portfolio, Algo is looking very juicy at some good buys here. Not signs of dying as a coin. It's not one of the ones that I'm necessarily worried about being not making it through the next bull market. This just every single day you see a red candle, it's just a better buying opportunity for some DCAing. Not necessarily certain, again, similar to Cardano, I'm not certain if I'm entering any trades here. Yes, it's overextended, but I just don't know. First of all, I don't follow it enough to know how much lower we really could go. But second of all, I guess we're getting close to these support levels. There we go. 10 cents could be the matching the bottom we had back here during pandemic. So we're getting kind of closer to that level that we could have happen. But either way, this is a project I wouldn't be trading right now, but I would be DCAing into. I would be acquiring more tokens just for the next bull market long haul.
Yeah.
Boom. Well, that is what we have for technical analysis of altcoins and crypto this morning. If you guys like that, I know it was a little bit messy, but if you guys watched through that, I feel like there's some good details, some good things to keep your eyes on when you're looking at your charts this morning. Make sure you go ahead and smash that like button. We got 86 people watching, but only 40 likes. Let's go ahead and adjust that. I know a lot of you guys just haven't been looking down. It's that little mitten, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. It's a mitten with 4 fingers. There's just no way that is a 5-fingered hand. Go ahead and smash the 4-fingered mitten, and let's get that up. Again, 84 people, 42 watching. That is at 50% at this level is not a good batting average.
No bueno.
No.
Well, are we ready to do the market open?
Let's go ahead and jump into our market open, T-Shroom.
All right. Well, that's your screen. Let's go to mine. We've got a green open today across the New York Stock Exchange indexes here. We've got the SPY and the SPX opening up 0.3% higher. And same thing with the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ opening up basically around the same levels, with the Dow Jones opening up 0.2 and the NASDAQ opening up 0.4. So the NASDAQ leading the way higher, as more than likely, I mean, the narrative just from this data is that you're seeing a little bit of return to risk. A little bit of return to risk. And I know that CNBC, because I was watching this morning, they were actually saying, the big tech is probably getting to the point where you want to start nibbling, start DCAing those names. We'll get to here in just a second. But if you're unfamiliar with big tech, because you're just so entrenched in crypto, or this is your first day to investing, these are the big names in tech that you'd be looking to buy. Yes, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, not so much Tesla, maybe Meta. You're waiting on Tesla here. We'll get to that here in a minute. Although it is leading big tech higher today, but it was down 11% yesterday, guys. So I'd be very weary with Tesla. I don't think that it has confirmed a bottom by any means with this 4% bounce in the early trading of Wednesday, December 28th. But I would say, keep an eye on it. 100, maybe 90, maybe 85 levels might be buyable. We shall see. We'll stay down here in this part of my watch list. You see the U.S. bond yields coming down, not as much as they've been going up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 2-year on these. We don't take a look at the charts very much on these. Lux Algo has it under a buy signal still. Interesting. So you can kind of see there's been an overall downward trend in December, but we have just had a very strong upward movement here yesterday, the last 10 days. So bond yields looking pretty strong here, but in a downward trend overall. Cannabis stocks, well, mixed. This is a major ETF of the industry of cannabis. It is down 1%. Tilray, a bigger name in Canadian manufacturing of cannabis producers, up almost 3%, and then CGC leading the market here, at least on my watch list, up 7%. There's probably some news on that. Mid-cap tech stocks in the U.S. Performing about as well as the big caps, up on average looks about 1% here. So I need to get a more robust, comprehensive watch list for my mid caps. These are kind of haphazardly thrown on here, some names. But
watch that DraftKings, just fundamentally watch that begin to skyrocket. We're getting closer towards the NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
And people bet every single week for sure, but the amount of bets that happen during the playoffs is pretty big. So that's one I would look at. We're getting close. We got 3 more weeks of regular season, and then we jump into the playoffs. Yeah, that'll be very interesting.
And then your oil producers are down today. So let's see. Occidental Petroleum, actually, I was taking a look at it. It didn't look like a bad time to maybe think about getting into that if you're bullish on the oil production, on the energy narrative that's been going on. Yeah. It's kind of here at this low in this channel that you can kind of see here. I'm not going to draw it out, but going back as far as June, this channel has stabilized and kind of normalized, and it is now at the bottom of that. That ticker is OXY, Occidental Petroleum, and I believe Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company, has a pretty big stake in that. Whereas if you look at ExxonMobil, while it has a more precipitous, more by that I mean a steeper incline here, it is kind of in the middle of that range. So probably not as much of a buy as Occidental. Now there's going to be fundamental reasons why Oxy is down at the bottom of its channel versus XOM versus ExxonMobil. And then Marathon in a similar position here in its range as Occidental, and then Schollenberger. Going through all the energy names here for you guys and leaving Lux Algo on for it. Schollenberger so it's kind of leading the market higher in this price channel movement of all these energy names. So you can kind of take your pick which horse you might want to ride there. And then we skipped energy proper. And as you can see, guys, look at this. This is rough. Natural gas down 9% yet again. And doing a little bit of TA on this, you can see quite rapidly. Let me zoom in a little more. You can see quite rapidly, Lux Algo still has a sell signal on it, a strong one of that. and it has broken down below this wedge that I was hoping it was going to consolidate in here and then break out to the upside. Did not happen. But I have and the unfortunate truth is I have an unweighted short on that. And so I only am covering about a quarter of my long position with a short position. And so I'm hurting a little bit on that. But luckily, I from a quantity standpoint, I'm not hurting too bad.
I'm watching it delayed because I'm watching on the YouTube side. The good thing, pull up your natural gas chart.
Yeah.
Look at those gaps that so as you're looking at the zones. I'm not saying natural gas is just going to shoot back up. But it looks like you're looking at Lux Algo. You're looking at Lux Algo, the reversal zone, the green reversal zone, and then look at the amount of gaps above it that it wants to close. You got to remember on the stock market, it likes to close those gaps. Same thing. Yeah. Go to my screen real quick. I was looking at Tesla because I know that's a big one. We saw in chat earlier. Someone was asking about Tesla. I'm not saying that Tesla is just going to sit here and bounce and just jump back up to fill these, but we have two gaps right now that we're looking at that need to be filled. First of all, the one that we just here, I'm on the weekly chart, by the way, guys. There's a gap right here. There's a gap right here over the next couple of days. Then I was looking at this when I saw it on the daily chart that potentially even today this green candle is going to come back up and close that gap. The other one, though, let's go back out to the weekly chart that we're looking at is this gap right up in here back that we set in September. Now, of course, we didn't just shoot back up and fill that one. So same logic. Doesn't mean we shoot back up and fill this one or shoot back up and fill this one anytime soon. We could continue to fall. What I do think is interesting is I've been looking at a lot of linear chart. This is the log chart with Fibonacci. We kissed that 0.382 level, so we came down 38% perfectly. If I were to take a log off and go linear, you're actually going to see that what we're actually getting close to is the 0.786 level. We didn't quite get there yet, but on the log one, it looks like we did find support right there at 0.382, so it would make sense for a bounce today that would at least fill this gap that we just set on the weekly and daily chart, if not go higher. And then I can tell you this right now. All Tesla needs, and you guys know this, is an Elon Musk announcement that he found a new CEO for Twitter and he's going to be spending more time focusing on Tesla. Yeah. And this will shoot back up and fill these gaps, potentially start going back towards all-time highs. Tesla is one of those projects that it very much is going to be Elon focused, and it's still a great stock. You guys have seen this for the last couple of years. It just continues to move to the upside like no other. Now, it does have its moments where it comes down pretty significantly. Like even right now, like it is down. What is I think we were looking at it yesterday. Tesla is down almost like it's an altcoin. It's been down 75% since that all-time high. Well, guess what that means? It's super, super low. There's blood in the streets. Yeah. That's the perfect time to be buying. So I'm not saying put all in on Tesla, but if you guys are looking to invest in Tesla, you guys see a great spot this morning to maybe put a little bit of funds in there. And then you have two places. If you want to be not very aggressive, right here on 120, take profit at 120 because it's going to fill that gap. If you want to be more aggressive out of the weekly chart, watch for what did I say it was right here. Around 261. If you want to be really aggressive and wait, you're going to have to wait for some months more than likely, but potentially you could have some take profit right there at 260 to fill that gap as well. So still a lot of good things happening in the stock market there. Just moves a little slower. But Tesla, like I said, moving like an altcoin with these massive drops. What was this day? Last thing I'm going to do. Sorry, I'm on the weekly chart. In 1 week, we dropped 20%. That's just unheard of in the stock market. Like that is a crypto move. Yeah. Tesla right now trading a lot like cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, and Tesla, just so you know, Tesla is not just some like random penny stock.
No,
of course you know that, but it's in the S&P. I believe it is even in the Nasdaq. So it's a stock that's like very, very integrated into people's 401ks, into major retirement plans. I don't think it's in pension funds. I wouldn't hold Tesla in a pension fund if I was a pension fund manager. But we'll round out this market pulse here with a look at oil. I've got the weekly chart pulled up here, and as you guys can see, it is it's kind of not liking this area here. This resistance here is pretty strong. It's only wicked above. So moving back into the daily chart, you can see that it's not wanting to get bought here. It's bouncing off this resistance of this. What is it? You know what this is called?
It's it's a cloud.
Yeah, it's a Luxalgo mid cloud. Call it that.
No, keep going. I'll find the name.
So anyway, I mean that's oil right now. It's had this movement upwards. A lot of that is due to the China opening headlines that there could be some demand for oil in China. But ultimately, it's kind of come back down. Now, my guess is that it isn't going to come down too far far. My guess is that it's probably going to find support somewhere in here, somewhere from 65. Probably 65 around there, and then it's gonna make a play from there. Whether it goes lower or higher, I think it's gonna probably come down to 75 and trade sideways for a bit. But that's just my guess, and that's also not considering any kind of event that could happen that so often will send oil in one direction or another. But the big tear on my face this morning is unfortunately the natural gas is just not going. I hope it doesn't have to come all the way back down into proving grounds here. I did see someone comment that it needs to go down to 10 natural gas. That would be rough. I would probably have to. I might even be considering doubling up on my short positions just so I can sleep at night. But so let's go ahead and get into our stories.
Yeah.
We've got some good ones here. Oh, there's our YouTube channel. And that's a good one, man. That's a clean channel. Look at that. The FBI renews warnings about pig butchering crypto scams sweeping the country. I'm going to simplify it for you here, guys. Be very careful when you go on. This is from the FBI themselves, the sophisticated, knowledgeable Federal Bureau of Investigations. Be careful when you go onto social media and dating apps and somebody starts developing a relationship with you and wants you to start investing. Don't get butchered.
So are they saying only when they want to invest? Or are they saying be wary when someone's interested in you? Like, are they just going against all dating sites
I
together?
think that the FBI is getting into the dating advice scene.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Be wary when someone is interested in you. Because
I mean,
there's a reason why you haven't gotten a relationship up to this point. I think that's what they're saying.
I think if the Twitter revelations, the Twitter files have taught us anything, it's that the FBI is spending a lot of time around organizations like BuzzFeed and Twitter, and they're just interested in pop relationship culture and stuff like that.
That's the absolute insult. If someone's interested in you, they're trying to scam you. Because look at you.
Yeah. It couldn't be anything going on up here or your personality. But back into the real news. But seriously though, this is a legitimate thing. I mean, not everybody in the FBI is just trying to silence you. There's also legitimate concerns going on.
We could help the FBI out a little bit here though.
Yeah.
And say, if someone approaches you and wants to invest with you and you've never met them before and you have no knowledge about them whatsoever, be wary.
Yeah.
That is the classic scam. Yeah. Also, breaking news, if you get an email from someone claiming to be the Prince of Nigeria, don't send them money. So FBI, there you go. We're helping you out today.
Yeah, FBI getting a big boost there from the investment bros. And that's awesome for them. Going to move over to Argo shares soaring following a $65 million sale of mining facility to Galaxy Digital. And you can't see that headline. You were only seeing me read that. Probably what you wanted, though. Let's take a look at that. This transaction with Galaxy is a transformational one for Argo and benefits the company in several ways. This is from their CEO, Peter Wall, as he said, it reduced our debt by $41 million and provided us with a stronger balance sheet and enhanced liquidity to help ensure continued operations through the ongoing bear market. So showing kind of Peter Wall there, aware of the bear market that crypto is in. If anybody is, I'm sure it's the miners for sure. As the price of Bitcoin is extremely important to their operations. But the question here I have is, okay, so now Galaxy Digital has more facility, more mining capacity. Are we starting to see a consolidation and a centralization in mining under one company, under one entity? And is that a problem, Tim?
It's absolutely a problem. If one entity is mining everything, then they're going to have control over that supply.
Yeah.
And then depending on which one, is this just Bitcoin mining or we're talking about mining in general? Because there's other coins that you mine as well.
It's more than likely just Bitcoin at this point.
I mean, because remember there was a concern last year when we found out that was it 67 or 76? I don't know. I don't know if I'm being dyslexic or not. Someone's gonna have to remind me in chat. But China, I think it was 67. Maybe it was 7. I don't know. A large percentage of Bitcoin mining was happening in China.
Okay.
And that was concerning because if the government were to actually create if they were to get their hands on those mining machines, all of a sudden the Chinese government controls Bitcoin. Well, it ended up playing out very nicely when what they did was instead of trying to take control of it, they just banned Bitcoin mining, moving a large percentage to, say, the United States or other countries. So for the same reasons we don't want a government having complete control over the mining of Bitcoin. We definitely do not want a company. I mean, I don't know why I said definitely. We don't want neither a government nor a company having control over Bitcoin mining, because that is when you do get that attack.
The 51%.
The 51% attack. That's what. Okay, so now I say that. That's what makes. I think it's in the 60s. China had like more than 60%. We do not want any entity having the ability to do a 51% attack on Bitcoin. That is the beauty of Bitcoin. It's decentralized in its holdings, but it also needs to be decentralized in its mining authority.
And you can take a look here at the price of Algo. But that's good. That's good, Tim, for sure. Argo. I hope I haven't been saying Algo. Argo, blockchain, which. Consequently, it's an English company, so it's headquartered there in London. And you can see on the 5-day, this chart looks pretty decent. Kind of correcting, it was off 71% higher off of this news of the selling of its assets there in the facility. But at the 6-month, this looks a little rough. So, trending up here around 40, 45, and now they're happy to see it come back up to 10. So, I'm not super bullish on that and getting into the miners right now, but if you want to buy things low and you want to buy things in the bear market, so maybe looking into shares of Argo if you have a brokerage in London might be something to look into. Well, I think we're ready to get into our cover story.
We're absolutely ready.
Let's do it.
Before we do that though,
what are we gonna do?
We have 92 people watching. Guess how many likes, T-Shirt?
I'm gonna guess 59 likes.
That was dead on. Dead on accurate.
I'm
are an intelligent being. Yes, we need to get those likes up to about 97, actually, more than likely, because as we're doing this, more people will join in. And if you have not hit that like button already, what are you doing? Go ahead and smash that like button as we get into our main story. T-Shroom, take it away.
Sam Bankman-Fried. Maybe you've heard of him. He's used $546 million in Alameda funds to buy Robinhood stake. Why is this important? Well, take a look at this. Sam Bankman-Fried borrowed $546 million from Alameda Research to purchase Robinhood shares this year, new court document shows. He and co-founder Gary Wong took out the money to buy the 7% stake in Robinhood. Last week, though, Sam Bankman denied he used company funds to make the purchase in the bankruptcy battle with current FTX CEO John Ray, who is looking to claw back hundreds of millions of dollars, trying to get that money back for you, the user who's got your money frozen. Well, it's over here in Robinhood, apparently. Bankman-Fried claimed he was entitled to the Robinhood stake because he was the sole owner of the holding company Emergent Fidelity Technologies. Oh, so this super smart guy thinks he's just going to make a shell company, put the shares in Robinhood there, and he's the sole owner of it, and that's just going to work. That's just the legal way of doing things.
When T-Shirt, in this article, because I was reading this morning too, I didn't see when. Did it say when he claimed that he should have all of it because he owns Emergent?
I did not see when. No, it doesn't say when he made that claim, but I believe it was recently. I believe it was.
Okay, thank you. You can continue.
We'll look more into it. Maybe there's a YouTube channel out there that knows something about that.
Maybe.
But according to the Bahamas court filing, SBF admitted to funneling the money from FTX-owned Alameda to Emergent. The latest bombshell complicates an ongoing legal battle about who owns the Robinhood stake, now valued at roughly $440 million. After FTX filed for bankruptcy in November 11th. The now bankrupt digital asset lender BlockFi, coming onto the scene, also claimed it has a right to the shares. BlockFi, which was acquired by FTX in June, alleges Sam Bankman-Fried proposed the 56 million Robinhood shares to their company, promised those shares in Robinhood to BlockFi as collateral against a loan from Alameda. Also Tuesday, so all kinds of twists and tangles here, man. Just, it's going to be an absolute crapshoot to try and figure out all this for those attorneys. Also Tuesday, federal prosecutors were investigating an alleged cybercrime that drained more than $370 million from FTX hours after it had filed for bankruptcy, and the DOJ has a separate criminal probe looking into that headline there. And that's something I had heard about it, but it kind of had slipped from my mind. $370 million just got hacked from FTX hours after the bankruptcy was announced. Now, was that a bunch of, folks who had the capacity? They're like, oh, we're not going to get our money off of this exchange. We got to hack it right now. Was it just random criminal opportunists, or was it Sam? Was it Sam who understood and knows the code about it from his exchange and just, had a little backdoor to leak $370 million for himself, or somebody like him, so another big leaguer that it's emerging? It looks like there's a lot more bad actors at the top. That's just one little rabbit hole here. Yeah. The big one obviously is this now, who owns the Robinhood shares? It's crazy. It's craziness. So what do you think, Tim? Who do you think owns it? Tim's got all the answers. Look at him over there. He knows.
Me. I don't know. I don't own anything. I never invested on FTX. I'm very glad I did not. And then even BlockFi. I mean, it's very interesting when BlockFi says they have an announcement. I'd be interested to know more about that deal. So it pretty much saying that they gave a loan to Alameda. BlockFi did.
Yeah.
And then the collateral was supposed to be the shares of Robinhood. The easy answer here would be to say it should be going back to John Ray to be able to go back to FTX holders to bring liquidity back in FTX. I think legally, though, if they can find that is true, if they can find the documents that say it, I think there's a good chance. Again, he was CEO. Here's what I would say. I think legally there might be a sense that it goes to BlockFi potentially at first, if that statement is true. But then, again, this is the precedence that we were talking about a couple weeks ago that we're finding out with a lot of the political investments, for example, that have been given from FTX. Those politicians are luring up to not be able to pay that money back, not have to.
Yeah.
But if they win, there's precedence there that they have to give that money back. The precedence, of course, going back all the way to 2009 with, I can't remember the name of the company, but literally donations they gave to a children's hospital had to be returned.
Yeah.
So if the children's hospital has to return money, I'm going to imagine the politicians are going to have to turn money. I get they're going to lure up. But then even, let's say that money goes over to BlockFi, maybe what the court ends up deciding is that Sam Bankman-Fried should not have been able to give that as collateral for that. And unfortunately, it sucks to be BlockFi, but that money does end up coming back to FTX, back to John Ray to add to his liquidation for clients. So I think that would be the best thing. Honestly, I hope it goes to one of the two of them, but it would make the most sense in fairness to go back to FTX. And I think there's a chance legally that's the proceeding that happens. It goes to BlockFi first, and then it gets recalled back into FTX because of that precedence back in 2009.
I think there was more than likely an illegal transaction from FTX's account to Alameda's account. And then when BlockFi was promised those shares, right, or there was collateral understandings, that was an illegal on top of an illegal promise. So I think it's FTX's shares, and that's money's going to go back to the users and to the creditors of FTX. That's my guess. Am I a lawyer? Yes. No, I'm not. And so we'll see. We'll have to see what happens. But when I woke up this
here's
morning,
what I will say.
Go ahead.
Just to remind everyone, because if the shares are worth $440 million right now, it's a lot of money. We actually joked about this right before we went on. I started by saying it doesn't even scratch the surface of the $10 billion that was stolen. But now I was like, well, let's just go and round up to $500 million.
Yeah.
It scratches the surface. It's just not. It's just literally just scratches the surface.
Yeah.
There's still going to be a lot of people that don't get their money back. I mean, anyone who gets money back from FTX is literally going to be getting pennies on their dollar back.
Yeah.
No one's getting back 100% of what they invested.
Yeah.
Sad.
Another thing you told me this morning, I thought that this is where you were going with this.
This is why maybe potentially in the future we'll allow certain people to be able to get into our planning meetings. So some of our greatest stuff happens in those planning meetings.
Yeah. Who would want to tune in and watch our planning meetings? Let us know in the chat below. It's something that we legitimately have thought about. We could just have a separate channel or some kind of Discord or Patreon where we can stream our shenanigans in the morning to. I don't know that you would want to watch that, but maybe you would.
But I wake up earlier.
Yeah, I thought you were going a little bit of a different direction with that because you were telling me we definitely don't want to talk about the Robinhood link that we have down in the description.
I did say that this would probably not be the best day to discuss the Robinhood link, seeing as that Sam Bankman-Fried owns 7% of it, and it's going to be going other places. Ultimately, the reason I said this is because people aren't going to like it. I think, theoretically speaking, if anyone's upset about that, here's the good news on the story. Sam Bankman-Fried is not going to be owning 7% of Robinhood for much longer. The question is it going to go to BlockFi? Well, in all actuality, will BlockFi own the stock, or will they make them sell it all off to liquidate to give the money back to FTX is the real question.
Yeah.
But good old Sam, he is not in control of Robinhood whatsoever.
Yeah.
That is good news.
That whole part of it is crazy, but if you kind of zoom out, which we recommend you always do, zoom out is what is really going on here. Well, it seems like everything else, all of the other assets in FTX and Alameda were just completely worthless, and everybody's just fighting over this last bit of value that actually has value in the Robinhood shares. Which brings me to say, Robinhood, hey, it's a great place to have your money. And I actually just opened up a Roth IRA with Robinhood, and they match 1%. And I think that they're the first entity to do this. Now, of course, Fidelity and everybody else is going to be jumping on that now and matching. But I put in $100 to start off my Roth IRA just to see, is it going to work? And they did. Sure enough, they matched me $1 on that. So it's interesting. Do we have a link below in the description to where you can sign up for Robinhood? Tim, do you know if we do or not?
We do.
Oh, you heard it there.
It's down there.
You heard it there from Tim. And I think Tim was thinking about signing up for Robinhood using my link. So
I think I will.
You get a free stock, and you can set up a Roth IRA. Setting up a Roth IRA is an excellent thing to do if before you're 30 and even after you're 30. But you want to get that done, make it happen.
Well, and to be clear, just so everyone also knows, continue to do your own research. This is one thing we told you guys. We will never. I don't know. Have we told them this? Maybe we haven't told them this. Here's what we'll tell you.
Well, I don't know what you're going to say. So.
Exactly. That's why this is fun.
Don't get butchered.
Boom! No, okay.
Scared me.
So we are going the goal for us in the future, because we both have jobs that we have to work outside of this. The goal would be to eventually start doing this full time. Yeah. That Investing Bros becomes our full time gig. To do so, that's why we will create like Patreons. We might create courses and stuff, but we'll also have some sponsors and affiliates. But here's what I'll tell you right now. And this is one thing that I learned very much so that I want to make sure this channel never changes on. When you guys see us have an affiliate link or you see us get a sponsor, I want you guys to continue to do your own research. But here's what I can tell you about me and T-Shroom. The only reason why we are being sponsored or have that affiliate link in our description is because we use it. So if something goes wrong, we will be screwed over just as much as anybody else. And if we see things going wrong, we will not hold on to sponsorships and affiliate links just because they make us money. If we think that something looks like it could be fishy, it might, especially like with exchanges. If we looks like something bad is happening, we will tell you as soon as we think something bad is happening, because we're going to be withdrawing and you guys are withdrawing. When it comes to Robinhood, my whole point of saying that is Robinhood is one I'm continuing to do research on, and T-Stream is right. They got a lot of bad publicity when it had that whole freezing thing with GameStop. Mm-hmm. But in all reality, it really hasn't had that much worse happen. It's continued to develop. And also, I'm going to use safe exchange practices, but I'm not going to be storing thousands of dollars on Robinhood. I'm going to utilize it to make some trades. And so I'll only leave money there that I want to be trading with. When I don't want to be trading with it, I'm going to be removing it from the exchange. Now, I don't think Robinhood's going anywhere, so I'm not necessarily too worried, but I'm still going to use safe practices when it comes to using exchanges, the same way any of you guys should be using any exchange use, whether it's Coinbase or Binance or Kraken or Huobi or whatever you guys use. Use safe practices when it comes to exchanges. Get yourself some cold wallets. Make sure the majority of your crypto holdings, especially long-term holdings, are sitting off exchanges in those cold wallets. But the exchanges you do use, be safe with them, and that includes Robinhood. So that's what I was going to say, T-Shirt. Did that surprise you too much? Or I feel like we talked about that.
No, it doesn't surprise me that you were eventually caving to getting a Robinhood account.
Yeah.
And look, guys, somebody said Robinhood is trash. I get it. At the time when that GameStop headline was coming out, I thought it was pretty bad too. But the thing is like, as the dust settles, you kind of realize, okay, the actual situation they were in was they were going to probably have to close up shop if they didn't do what they did. They froze buying. Yeah, they froze buying on GameStop, so you couldn't buy more GameStop. Right?
They froze so you couldn't withdraw your money for a period.
From GameStop or from the platform?
From the platform.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's not good.
The exchange froze.
I thought it was that anyway. So there was some scandal, and it wasn't great.
The big deal was you couldn't. There was one period where you couldn't take profit, and there's another period where you couldn't buy it at a low. Like it dropped really, really down, really low, and you couldn't buy it.
But if I had money in like Microsoft, I could sell that and take that off Robinhood.
I don't remember the exact details. I think so, but I could be wrong, so I don't want to say one way or the other.
I mean, that whole GameStop AMC period in trading history was unprecedented. There was nothing like that, other than crypto, but that's not stocks. It's not FDIC. Yeah. So it was unprecedented, and it was all based on conspiracy theories about what could be going on over at GameStop and how they were going to become $1 billion, whatever, they were going to go to the moon. And so, Robinhood had to take unprecedented action. And I'm not sitting here trying to defend Robinhood. I just really want you to click on that affiliate link and set up an account and get a free stock. I just really want you to have free money. And I don't want a silly old scandal that happened with Robinhood way back in the day that was based on an anomaly to stop you from getting what you deserve.
Well, and here's the thing. I've seen, I saw someone say they love Robinhood. Other people say they hate it. Even Elo Brown said, "Sorry, you lost me with Robinhood." Here's the good thing about it. I feel like we've been very transparent with what our thoughts are about Robinhood. I love that you guys are going to continue to think for yourself. And if you don't want, like Elo Brown, if you're with him, I do not want Robinhood, then don't get it. And with me, I don't think I'll ever really have more than like $1,000 on Robinhood. I don't think it's going to be one I ever put a good amount of money into. It's just there are certain trades that I have wanted to be purchasing and doing that Robinhood would let me do with very low fees. So that's my temptation to go use it. I'm still going to use very safe practices. And if any of you guys are saying, no, I don't trust it, I remember that hack. I remember the stuff that happened there. I don't like it. Then good for you. Stay away because that is your decision to do so. And again, if anything looks fishy, if things start going bad, we will be the first ones telling you guys, hey, this does not look good. We were wrong.
Yeah.
Get your money off.
Yep. That's a good, healthy take.
Good. Well, speaking of affiliate links, this is another. We just got this one, and this one is very exciting. Unfortunately, I will not be able to utilize it. And I'll tell you why in a second. But if you guys are in that description, maybe some of you guys went down there, you looked at it. We have our Lux Algo one. You guys know we love Lux Algo. That's a beautiful project. Go ahead and get that one. We have that Robinhood down there. The third one that is fresh this morning is to the Bitcoin 2023 conference. And I know a lot of you guys in chat that I've seen in Discord, they actually already have their tickets. But if anyone still wants to go, and you have not purchased your tickets yet, that link right there not only supports us, but it gives you 10% off to go to Bitcoin 2023, where T Shroom will be appearing. Is that true, T Shroom? You'll be down there?
It's like a 99% chance. The only reason I wouldn't go is if something crazy comes up, an emergency, or if the good old United States Army calls me up and says, "We need you on the front line." Yeah. But other than that, I'll be there.
That's true. But a 1% chance.
Other than that, I will be there. You support the channel when you buy tickets through our link, and you also get 10%
using the code
off.
Investing Bros.
Yep.
And the reason I won't be on there, and I really thought I would, it literally when we were working with getting this affiliate link, I was excited about going, and then my wife reminded me. So what's the date? What's the date of the conference again?
The date of the I believe it's the 18th through the 20th.
Yeah, the 18th through the 20th.
Let me make sure.
My wife's due date is May 28th. So leaving a week before her due date.
Yeah, not smart.
Would not be wise.
But there's hospitals down in Miami though.
Yeah, no. I will not be there, unfortunately. What I'll probably do is I'll be here because the days that you're gonna be gone during the week, I'll just stream from here. So the show will continue to go on, and then maybe potentially what I'll do is call you and get updates from you on what's happening.
So
down there
it's 18th through the 20th, but it says the first day is Industry Day. And it says industry or whale pass required. So probably you're not going to be there the 18th unless you're trying to get, the industry or whale pass, which the prices are very significantly different on those, as you'll see when you go on the website. But May 19th and 20th, basically that's what you're going to get when you sign up and when you use our code for 10% off. Yeah. And you also support our channel because we get a little bit of that. So that's pretty cool.
Boom. Well, I think, T-Shirt, do we have anything else we need to talk about in this show, or is that about it? I think, just so you guys know, we're gonna be having our streams normal the rest of this week, and then we'll be back on Monday. So no breaks or weird things around New Year's. It's gonna be, I think, a couple of months, unless something crazy happens, that we'll be missing a show. So we will be here every single day, Monday through Friday, 9 to 10. We're a little long again today. We'll in the future, we both have, during this little Christmas break, we have some time to go over a little bit, but we'll be going live 9 to 10 every single day. Make sure that you subscribe. Again, we haven't said this in a little bit. Another way, if you guys love our channel and you're already liking every single video and you're already subscribed and you've already hit that bell notification, which if you haven't, make sure you hit that bell notification. The other thing that you can do is comment below every single video. Even if it's just loved the episode, that's helpful. But even more so, if you want to give us content ideas, if you want to give us critiques, things that you really like that you want to see more of, or things that you didn't like that you want to see less of, make sure you comment those down below so that we can continue to improve as a channel. And the last thing you do is hit that share button. Not that many people use that button. But I've seen a couple. Share with everybody you know. We're continuing to build. Again, maybe we won't ever be the largest crypto space, but we will be the greatest crypto community out there because this is about real people coming with transparent information every single day. You guys are going to hear exactly what we're thinking, and we're going to encourage you guys to continue to think for yourself, and we're going to do it in a very uplifting, non-toxic way. If that's something you want to get behind, make sure you do all of those steps to help us continue to grow. And guess what? It's not going to be very, very long before we are sitting up very, very high when it comes to these crypto channels. And it's all because of you guys. So with that said, we love all of you, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.